Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the DOTSAMA Sofia. This is the closing event of the Polkadot Prodigy Hackathon. We're so happy to have you here, also our viewers online. My name is Christo. I'm part of the business development team at LimeChain, and I will basically introducing the event today, and after that, introduce our two keynote speakers. A couple of words about our agenda today. After the opening ceremony, which is basically what's happening now, we're going to have two keynote sessions, one from Luis, who'll be sharing a little bit more insights about how the Vara network is supporting developers with traditional background to get into Web3. And after that, Rada will be sharing some thoughts on Polkadot and what is the future of Web3. After that, we're going to have probably the most exciting part, especially for the participants in the hackathon, because what we're about to do is we're about to announce all the winners from the hackathon and the corresponding ranking and prizes. And at the end, we have designated an hour and a half for some networking. And yeah, a little bit more about the Prodigy Hackathon. The idea behind the hackathon was to have 3 weeks online events where people that are interested in getting acquainted to Web3 and the Polkadot ecosystem are creating some applications. After that, those are being assessed and ranked by jury team members. The idea that we had was to help attract more builders and more developers that are excited about Web3 and wanted to get their hands on the Polkadot stack. We would like to express our gratitude for being able to co-organize this event along with Georgi. Georgi, are you around? Yeah, Georgi is somewhere around here. So we started organizing the event a couple of months back with the idea to facilitate those workshops, mentor builders, and help them get acquainted with the Polkadot tech stack. We would like to express some sincere thanks to the Web3 Foundation for all supporting this event. Web3 Foundation is working tirelessly to facilitate the adoption of the ecosystem, as well as attract some builders and users that would help basically the whole Polkadot and Web3 space grow. Coming up next, we have some special thanks for some group of people, starting with the mentors. Those are the people that were basically on a daily basis supporting all the hackathon participants, help them to understand the technology, also apply it properly into the context of Polkadot. Thanks to all the mentors. Without you, this event wouldn't be possible. Going to the next group of people, those are the judges. The judges are the people that were assessing the projects, and by applying their expertise, they help us to fairly rank the projects, and after that come up with the proper list of finalists and basically awards the most innovative projects. This is the second page of judges. After that, we have our media partners. In fact, the hackathon participants were around 100, which was quite exciting for us. We didn't expect that big of interest. The finalist group is 30, and this was mostly thanks to the media partners who help us to promote the event and basically attract people that are interested in the Polkadot ecosystem. So thanks for your support as well. And last but not least, we have the Polkadot builders. Those are the entities and companies that are working tirelessly to promote the Polkadot ecosystem, help its adoption, and basically attract more users to the Web3 space. A couple of words about LimeChain and what we do. At LimeChain, we're a software development company from Sofia, Bulgaria. We're actually one of the pioneers in the Web3 and the blockchain space because we started working entirely focused on DOT around 7 years ago. As a company, I would designate 2 missions. One of them is to support the progress of the DOT space as a whole. That said, we're proud to say that we have contributed to most of the widely adopted ecosystems with infrastructure projects such as different kinds of tooling, hosts, runtimes, relayers, different types of testing libraries. Basically everything that you would expect from a very well adopted ecosystem. On top of that, because by providing contributions to all those public ecosystems, we are very well positioned to also support the adoption of the Web3 space by providing technical consultancy to different kind of companies such as startups, enterprises, and scale-ups, by advising them what the technology is about, how to properly apply them into their context, and after that, of course, help them with the implementation when it makes sense. Without further introduction, now I would like to give the word to Luis from the Vara network, who is going to share a little bit more on how they support traditional web developers to get into the Web3 space. Okay, Luis, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Okay, well, it's really amazing to stay here and just starting the event before the drinks. Then I guess that is the best moment, because after that moment we just start talking about everything and we lose about different kind of things. But yeah, thank you so much. Today I'm gonna talk about the transition from Web 2 to Web 3, mainly on Vara ecosystem, Polkadot ecosystem, Substrate ecosystem, right? So okay, help me to understand, raise your hand if you understand the basis of the Polkadot ecosystem. I guess that everybody here almost, yeah. Well, then I'm just gonna give you some introduction about myself, mainly focus on the team building on the developer side. So I've been on the last 3 years participating on different hackathons. Initially in LATAM, the last months in different other countries like India and Thailand, US, and now here. And well, we are working with developers. For those that maybe know a little bit about our company, this is a picture of in February, where we joined to talk about technology and how to improve what we are doing. We perform different events, and yeah, I guess that almost everybody here knows about Web3. So for those that are really starting to understand what is this evolution of the technology, what we are using so far, Amazon, Facebook, and all that technology works well, but centralized, that's a problem. Why this industry start working with a different solution, the centralized solution where all the users can participate in the technology. And the first blockchains, as we know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the others that start creating something. Even Polkadot, it was started in the mind of Gavin Wood because of starting an evolution in the technology, right? So how to improve what Ethereum was doing in that moment, then that is Polkadot. And we start with the smart contract evolution, like how to create code into the blockchain immutable. We need to understand then how can we improve that. We have a lot of different blockchain technologies that execute something like this, Ethereum the first one and some others. But I want to talk first about this part. Vara is layer 1 that runs over a gear protocol, but it was started by Nikolai Wolf. Maybe somebody here knows Nikolai. Yeah? Okay, nice. Well, for all the other people that maybe it's the first time that heard about this guy, well, Nikolai was working with Gavin Wood building Substrate. Then in the pass of the time, Nikolai realized that Substrate works pretty well, and he wanted to create another solution connected to Polkadot, used to bring more developers from the Web 2 to the Web 3 ecosystem. That was the first part of the technology. So is the basic of a Vara network is something called Gear Protocol, and it's based on this 3 technical stuff. I'm not gonna dig a lot here because I want that you can stay fresh, but very fast about actual model, the way that the smart contracts communicate through messages. WebAssembly compatibility with different programming languages. So far, WebAssembly supports 22 programming languages, and we use mainly Rust on our side. And persistent memory. Every smart contract has its own state, its own memory, so it's not global like in other blockchains. Then, okay, this is like what we have building so far. Layer 1, sovereign. Vara is not connected so far to Polkadot ecosystem. We're not a parachain, we're a solo chain. But we work really close with the Polkadot ecosystem because of Basis. Even Gavin Wood is investor of Gear. Then we're growing with Polkadot as Polkadot grows also. And as I said, we have our API on Rust, okay? Also other programming languages like assembly script, and also other are coming. I want to talk about these three main features, like what is different, because when we present a new technology, something pretty common is that, okay, another blockchain. Yeah, but what does and why another blockchain? Well, if we start from the founder, Nikolai, that had a vision in the moment when they were building Substrate, then this is something really important, because how to make possible that Web2 developers come to the Web3 ecosystem, we need to make it easier, right? Because right now, if one developer start the search, like, I want to become a Web3 developer, what do I need to know? Okay, search on Google or ChatGPT. Well, the first thing that it comes, it's Solidity, right? You need to learn a new programming language. Okay, Solidity, EVM, and all the technology that we know that it works, but there are more important and efficient technology out there. Then this is basically what we have, like avoid the developer learn a new programming language. So if the developer understand one programming language compatible with WebAssembly, then they will be able to come and build on Web3. Okay, delay messages. When we create the smart contract, something important is to automate process and make everything possible on the chain, okay? But, for example, on subscription system, like Netflix, on a Web3 solution, when we wait for an amount of time, let's say 1 month, to validate if the user is still registered on the platform of the the account is active, what we need to do is to execute a third-party event of chain message mainly and activate the smart contract, okay? Then with delay message, we avoid to do that, because one smart contract is able to send a message to the same smart contract with a timeout. So we can say, send this message 1 month starting from now, and this message will enter into the same smart contract and start validation just to see if the user is active, for example. Payless transaction, it's an important feature now in the Web3 landscape, because what is the first thing that one application, a decentralized application, asks for the user in order to start with the application to function? Yeah, the money, the tokens. You need to pay gas, you need to have tokens of our platforms. Okay, that is a problem with adoption, right? Because if a Web2 user starts with our application, then, okay, connect a wallet. What is a wallet? Okay, I understand like a Polkadot.js talisman. I just download add the plugin into my browser, and I'm done. Okay, I have my wallet. Create an account. Okay, I need to create an account. Now, you don't have enough tokens to pay gas fees. Okay, another problem, yeah? So this is not something really useful for the users, a normal Web2 user, right? That's what it comes here with payless transaction, because what we do is that we provide the solution on the smart contract side. We have something called voucher, and we send tokens to this voucher. So the end user will be able to interact with the application without paying gas. Well, because the gas fee needs to be paid, right? Because it's part of the ecosystem, validators and all that stuff. But the end user won't pay gas fees. The gas fees will be used from the voucher. That is payless transaction. And the last but not least is signless transaction. Okay, this, it means that the user will be able to interact with the blockchain without knowing that it's interacting with the blockchain. It means we avoid that the user click on sign every time that he's connecting to the blockchain to send a message or to sign a transaction. Yeah, then this is really useful because also we avoid, it's a little bit annoying when we are playing, when we are using or interacting with an application. It's really annoying that every time we need to click on sign. And we know it's for security, right? But the end user is different. Mainly we are talking to another user, not like a Web3, as we understand pretty well what does it mean all that. But some user doesn't really care that. This is a basic structure about the smart contracts, how it works. If you want to know more detail about technical stuff, I am pretty sure that I can talk with you here in a normal conversation. I don't want to bore you about this now. And I have this, if you want to scan this, you can use it on Nova Wallet, for example, or in your computer with just the link. You can enter, like, I don't have my computer here, maybe I can open it. If you can help me, I can open this. If not, maybe, I don't know if we have enough time. We have time? Nice. Okay, then we will see all that I have told you, but in practical way, because it's better, right? Not only like in theory. We don't have internet. Okay. Yeah, some kind of issues that it could happen. Yeah. Okay, we don't have internet connection. Then meanwhile, I guess that I can share some information with you about. Okay, for all those who are interested in to learn more about Vara network technology, we have Academy. This is the link, and you can learn USD after you finish the sessions. But the more important thing so far is the grants, because if you want to build an application and you have a good idea, then you can receive a grant. You just need to send information into the form. And ambassador program, so if you want to be part of this technology, also you can be part. I give you here my email and some QRs for the Vara Network, Twitter, and GitHub. And whatever you need about Vara Network technology, what we are doing, where we are, and all that, whatever you have in mind, if you want to ask, I'm going to be here. I'm not quite sure if the internet's going to be fixed. Let me check another time. It seems that. Okay. 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 Well, no problem. So I'm gonna let you the link here, and we can see here. Gonna back to this one, like the laptop that is presenting this, it's over there, so I cannot manipulate all this live demo. But I have my computer, so I can show you with time if you want to know more about how to interact without paying gas fees and different stuff. Okay, this is, but it's there, right? So I need to go there? Well, is that possible? Just waiting. See. Or maybe I can say how to manipulate. It's gonna be really like interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, you have here one of the live demos that we have. You can implement it as you wish, but I'm gonna give you just a brief introduction about this battleship game. So, okay, here it says like connect wallet. Let's click please on connect wallet button. Yep. And here, okay, it says that you don't have. Do you have in this browser Polkadot.js? No, just okay. Yeah, well, I guess that it could be a little bit like annoying to do all the process, but if you are on the Polkadot ecosystem, you know that Polkadot.js, sub-wallet, Nova wallet, and all that, you can use it. You can just copy this link into Nova wallet, for example, and you can use it and move forward, right? Then it's gonna be for the next time, maybe to see the live demo, but I have my computer here, so if you want to see it, I can show you. Then that's it on my side. Can we return just to the last slide, just to show the. Yes. Okay. Yeah, no, it's okay. I guess that that was the last part of this. Okay, well, that's everything on my side. Thank you so much. And if you want to know more about this, I'm gonna be here. Thank you.
Just a second until we resolve a technical issue, and after that we'll have Rada who will be presenting about Polkadot. Thanks for the patience. In the meantime, if somebody have a question for Luis, we can discuss it now while we wait. Any questions for Luis? Okay, Rada, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Okay, hello everybody. Very glad to be here today talking about Polkadot and the future of Web3 to all of you. The previous talk actually made my life a lot easier, so he has already introduced a lot of technical terms. Rather than, I usually give this presentation to like different audiences. I make it very formal, but today I'll try to spin a story out of this, okay? So just to keep the small group interesting. So let's just get started. Yeah, so to know about like the future, first let's try to see what happened in the past and what's going on in the present, and you know, make our own judgment whether Polkadot is going in the right direction. So back in 2018, if you looked at like blockchains in general, they weren't built for talking to each other, right? So they are like these standalone chains. Yes, they had like this general purpose, like smart contracts, like going on, but fundamentally they weren't designed to talk to each other. The other thing is, you know, about upgrades. Like there was no design that is gonna let those blockchains, like, you know, upgrade with seamlessly. There's no concept of on-chain governance. Yes, people have tried to create DAOs, but they failed, and yeah, it was scrapped, and then more ideas came in, and then people were just like figuring out how to use the governance to actually, you know, govern the protocol itself. So there we are, and then you know what chain I'm talking about here? It's Ethereum. So Gavin Wood was one of the co-founders of Ethereum. He has written Solidity, wrote the yellow paper. So he, at some point of time, realized that the design that is out there, it may not be sufficient for scaling things further, right? So what came in his mind was the concept of Web3. So yes, Bitcoin was revolutionary, you know, back in 2010. It sort of gave this opportunity to exchange value without a central authority. Good. But what it essentially can do is, you know, there are accounts and there are balances and it's a ledger, right? So, and then Vitalik came up with this programmable, you know, smart contracts, what he called, you know, which are going to let you write a program, and then it's guaranteed that it will work, irrespective of whether Trump or Putin or anybody, nobody can stop that from running. So that's the beauty of it. So it's beyond any sort of centralized entity to stop that from happening. And then came this notion of Web3, right? So seeing like the monopolies in the technology sector, literally like governing our lives, like our private lives. The concept of bringing back the data into the user's hands, that's the central idea of like Web3. And how would you implement that, right? So people have thought about it, but you know, the best technology that could actually make happen is blockchain. And the reason is, with blockchain, you can digitally set things in stone. So you can say, I own this, and then everybody has to agree if you actually own it, right? So, and this term itself was also coined by Gavin Wood, and then he sort of put forward like the vision of Web3 for that to improve like our day-to-day interactions on internet. I also keep giving this example to people. When I was in grad school, I was taking nice pictures of Vermont, like it's like northeastern part of US. So I posted that on Adobe, you know, stock photography. So the guy who downloaded it paid $10, and then I got 10 cents in my account. So all it did was, it was just a marketplace where, you know, I'm the content creator, someone else is using my content, and this middleman is like taking a huge cut. So what Web3 should do is sort of make it a win-win situation. You know, make it $1 for me and $1.10 for the guy who's downloading, and the 10 cents goes into rewarding like everybody who's facilitating that marketplace, right? So that design, so many of the projects here are trying to make that a reality, even though there is a lot of talk about like tokenomics or meme coins or whatever. So the underlying principle of why these projects were founded is that to bring fairness, to bring trustlessness into like our online interactions. You don't have to trust the other person, but you're ensured that the transaction will be fair, right? So of these projects, like we are today like going to cover what happened with Polkadot and what's the future going to be for this particular protocol. Okay, so when the project sort of began early in 2016-17, the founders sort of realized, okay, so there is this chain Ethereum, okay, and what Ethereum does is it ties everything to Ether. Even if you want to say hi on Ethereum, you have to, use like Ether token. So there's no other way out of it. And it goes through the EVMs. I'm sorry. So it has to be processed through the EVM. So EVM again, it's sort of like the first car model, if you can think of it. But there are so many new cars out there, right? So people are not sticking to the original car model that came way back. So there are much better, like machines or engines that can actually process blockchain transactions. But yeah, so EVM was there, and then so what the founders thought was it's not possible for a single blockchain, set of rules to apply to every single blockchain use case out there. So you need diversity. Each use case has its own necessity. For instance, if you're implementing a blockchain application for social media, think of how many likes and comments and shares that you'd like to sort of record on the chain. That's simply not possible with Ethereum architecture. We have seen that with CryptoKitties, like it sort of crashed the whole network. The fee is like spiking or fluctuating a lot. So the idea here is that, okay, for every use case, we need to tune the blockchain itself, like fundamentally. And all of these blockchains have to somehow talk to each other in a secure way so that we have like a seamless experience. So Polkadot began with this vision. Like it began with the vision that it itself won't be the only chain. Polkadot will coexist with Ethereum. Polkadot will coexist with like Cosmos. So that was the original idea of the founders. So what it did was, from ground up, Polkadot sort of created the technology stack to serve millions. And I'm not just throwing the number out there. So there are actual statistics that can show that it can serve like millions with the existing technology stack. So we've had this inscription craze last year. People were just like trying to spam all the existing networks, trying to do this ordinal stuff. They tried to do that on Polkadot, and we didn't even hit the block capacity. And we were able to process like several millions of transactions without actually going offline or without even price impact. Like the transaction fees were still within the bounds, and the way it was achieving that is through this particular architecture, right? So basically what Polkadot did was, hey, what I'm going to do is I'll have like a single blockchain. This blue circle that you see, it's a representation of like Polkadot chain, and then this will run all these individual, this pink blocks there. You can think of them building blocks in 3D towards you. So all of these blockchains are running in parallel on Polkadot. Each one is going to specialize in a specific use case. All of these are going to like talk to each other. They have their own like business logic and code. So this basically is execution sharding. So there's data sharding where you put data in shards. Here, you're basically offloading the execution into these different shards. We are one of the first, along with Near protocol. I don't know if anyone is familiar with Near protocol here. Yeah, so they've did execution sharding as well. And both of them launched in 2020, right? So good, like what Polkadot achieved here was it was giving a security to all of these chains. So if you were to launch a blockchain today on Polkadot, or in 2 months when Agile Core Time goes live, from block number 1, every transaction on your network is going to have about $6 billion security. Meaning if somebody has to mess with your single transaction, they'll have to shell out like $6 billion, right? So that makes it like virtually impossible for or economically not so feasible for attacking your network. So that's what is happening with all these blockchains. Once they become parachain, they can plug into Polkadot security through nominated proof of staking, and then they could also talk to each other with the same level of security. So every cross-chain message that you send between these chains, it is protected by the overall Polkadot security. And the design didn't stop there. The founders also thought of how best can we leverage the existing programming languages, keep them generic. Like Solidity is like very specific to like blockchain applications. Why not use something like Rust, which is very generic? There are people in Facebooks and Googles using that programming language. The language itself is going to be well maintained and sort of developed for generic use cases, right? So, and then the virtual machine choice was WebAssembly. So WebAssembly can run in your browser. Again, like lots of technical giants are working on improving it. So overall, this was a blessing for Polkadot as well as a curse. Can anybody tell why? Or I'm sure a lot of you did hacking. I don't know how comfortable you were with like Rust and like Substrate in general. So the problem was all the money and people with this Web3 vision, about changing the world, they all knew Solidity. They didn't know these two things. So we neither attracted the Googles or Facebooks, nor like the Web3 people who knew Solidity into the ecosystem. So basically, these two were like blessing and as well as a curse. From design-wise, like they were like really optimal. But again, to really build these applications, we didn't have a lot of traction in there. Of course, yeah, like Polkadot protocol itself did very well, but we needed somebody on top of it to make it really useful. So that's where we hit some roadblocks initially. But if you've looked at the Polkadot SDK, you can see how flexible it is, right? So there are blockchains out there like BitTensor, Avail, or so there are many blockchains and Vara, right? So they've used Substrate Polkadot framework to sort of build these applications that are not possible otherwise with other SDKs. And also, I need to highlight, even from the node, the very base level of Polkadot, design decisions were taken so that it can be very generic. So if you look at a Polkadot node, when compare this, you can compare this with Cosmos node. So if a Cosmos validator has to validate 3 different chains, they have to download 3 different binaries. Whereas for Polkadot, you just download one binary, and then whenever you want to validate Moonbeam, you just plug in the WASM code, like which is about 1 MB or so, plug it into the validator, and then sort of validate it. Day after tomorrow, like Moonbeam might decide to go to Ethereum. We don't know. They are in the so at that point of time, if a new project comes, they can be plugged in as well. So that's the level of flexibility Polkadot nodes have as well, which like others haven't really like thought about. Okay, so the network is producing blocks every 6 seconds. Fair enough, fast enough. Not as fast as Solana though, but still it's fast enough for many like blockchain applications. I don't go into the, so we have like 300 validators. We're trying to push it to 1,000 for a really long time now. I think there'll be a push very, very soon because we want to improve the agile core time scenario as well. So, but still, like if you look, hello, yeah. The Nakamoto coefficient, which looks at the decentralization of the network, I think we're still leading there when compared to other networks. Although I don't believe in the number I see for Polkadot there. So anyway, so one good thing about Polkadot protocol is you'll never hear that the network is shut down or stalled. So these sort of complaints you won't hear because we have a hybrid consensus. So what Polkadot does is it capitalizes randomness like Bitcoin. Bitcoin keeps producing like blocks. And then something like Cosmos does the BFT to finalize the chain. Polkadot does both. So there's like Babe algorithm that sort of keeps building blocks. and then there's grandpa that sort of finalizes it independently. So that way you have a live chain and then a chain that finalizes the transaction. So finality on Polkadot is around like 20 seconds. So if you send dot to someone, within 20 seconds you can be sure that it reached the other end. Yep, I talked about the parachains. They have like this custom applications. Let's see what they are. So right now there are about 50 parachains running. I wouldn't say 50 of them are doing unique stuff, like there's some overlap. The idea is that Polkadot will be this sort of app store where people could count on like the quality of them, right? So I don't know how many of you contributed to the crowd loans in Polkadot. Can I get a, yeah, few of you. So the idea was that crowd loans sort of act like this quality control measure so that only good projects get the slots on Polkadot. Back then there was so much of demand, but we all know what happened after crowd loans launched. A huge market crash sort of eliminated a lot of interest in the field, and the parachains, it was their time to shine, but unfortunately they were stripped away from that opportunity, because ever since they launched, like, it was always downhill, right? So bad timing, but again, like, the technology itself was sort of giving them an option to build all of these chains, focus on just the business logic, and then build them. So to make like Polkadot even more efficient, we have what's called system chains. So these are going to be parallel blockchains running as well, but these are not developed by community. So they are part of like the Polkadot protocol. So they run as part of like Polkadot as well. So one of the things I want to highlight is the Asset Hub. I don't know how many of you are doing transactions on Asset Hub. I would totally recommend moving your dot to Asset Hub and then transact it there. If you also look at the fees for transferring USDT or USDC on Asset Hub, it's 10,000 times cheaper than Ethereum, 1,000 times cheaper than Solana, 100 times cheaper than Optimism. It's the cheapest option available on Binance. So this levels of like cost optimization is possible because of the underlying optimizations Polkadot sort of used, right? So no other chain is able to like offer that levels of cost effectiveness. Yeah, so plenty of use cases. As part of like Web3 Foundation, we've funded plenty of projects. We've seen them grow and then move away to other ecosystems. That's a different story. But again, like Polkadot sort of had all of these applications in mind. Like we wanted something more than cryptocurrency, being able to use to build something along the vision of Web3, right? So that's where Web3 Foundation's focus was, and we funded many projects in these buckets. So a couple of things I want to highlight that other blockchains won't be able to do. What Polkadot can do is something like this. It's a very popular gaming application in the US, like NFL is a thing. People play this game. It's been in top 10 a few times. Now they've used like Ethereum stack. They've used EVM, and that's why they're migrating it to Polkadot model, but still using EVM though. So they couldn't give up on that because a lot of their infra is sticking to that EVM, but they want to run EVM on more efficient chain. So they'll be becoming a parachain on Polkadot soon. And yeah, and their confidence comes from the fact that they'll be able to scale when the user's demand is like really high, when a lot of people are claiming NFTs or when a lot of people are playing the game. They won't hit any issues. Just the way the inscriptions craze tweet that I've shown to you. So they're pretty confident that Polkadot can sort of meet their demands, right? So the other one I want to highlight is Project Liberty. So it's a parachain called as Frequency. They're even thinking of acquiring TikTok and sort of integrating TikTok levels of volumes with their parachain called Frequency. They have that confidence because they've looked at the technology stack that Polkadot provides. You can see I linked the link there, so you can click there and see comparative analysis they made out of like 8 popular chains, and they've come up with this argument that substrate it also allows this feeless interaction, right? Like what Vara network mentioned earlier. So it was a straightforward choice for them, but yes, they have hit a lot of hurdles again, like in rolling this out. But the point being, these applications are Polkadot is serving as the infrastructure for applications like these, which are actually trying to bring Web3 vision into reality, right? So that is where I want, the hackathon participants. If you're thinking about like projects, yes, right now there's a lot of craze in meme coins and there's a lot of money in Ethereum, yes. But if you're also thinking about like Web3 vision, you should take a look at like what you could do with the SDK more seriously. So what's next? I already mentioned about agile core time. So earlier you had to raise this crowd loan and do auctions and then get a core on Polkadot. Now I'm working on a project called as EduChain. I'm going to show how to launch a parachain in 2 hours, right? So you basically register the parachain on Polkadot. It's not live there yet. Like you can test it on Rococo, which is like a testnet. Yeah, so it's what it gives is, think of a university club. A university club need not deploy a smart contract and then be affected by the price fluctuations. It need not run a blockchain node 24/7. What it could do is it can collect like the transactions happening in the network every 24 hours and then finalize them at the end of the day, right? So that's the most optimal thing that for like small groups. And that is possible with this architecture. So you only produce blocks when you want to. If you want more block production capacity, you can ask for it. If you don't want to produce a block, you can pause it. And this improves a lot of efficiency. There won't be any redundant block produced. So that's a good thing. So this is going live on Polkadot in 2 months. Check it out. It's going to bring the entry barrier below. So async backing. So parachains take 12 seconds to produce a block. So with this, it'll be 6 seconds and 4 times more throughput. So we're looking at 10 times more capacity for parachains. Talked about this already. Yeah, this is the coolest application that no other chain has implemented. Think of the Polkadot Technical Fellowship, right? So they've built the protocol. In the protocol, there was dot token. And that dot token is actually giving them salaries. So now Polkadot Technical Fellowship has like OECD grade like salaries from $10,000 to $200,000. And all of this is coming from the protocol itself. So the treasury has dot. The dot is being dollar cost averaged in the reverse. And you get like US dollars, USDC or USDT. And that is being paid to the accounts of the fellowship right there. So I haven't seen this in any other DAO. And cross-chain communication, we're not as good as Cosmos. So Cosmos really nailed like the interchain communication. Yes, but again, XCM, even though I don't know how many of you in Hackathon touched like XCM. So it takes a while to get used to and then do debugging. But at the end of the day, it is secure. Like once you've figured out everything and you deployed on your chain, it's guaranteed that it'll have like the security, right? And that's where you won't hear all of these, where bridges are like multi-sigs or so you won't hear news like this unless somebody really screwed up with the code in like XCM or like bridges. We make sure we're thoroughly audited. So thankfully you won't hear stuff like this in Polkadot ecosystem. Yeah, so and then we have a dedicated bridge hub. So bridge hub is sort of permissionless. So here there is no middleman. So one protocol understands the other protocol. So Polkadot is literally running a light client of Ethereum. There is a smart contract on Ethereum that is listening to like what's happening on Polkadot. There's no middleman. So for this Polkadot Ethereum bridge, the security levels are again like $6 billion. So if somebody wants to attack that, they need to have so much of capital. I put it in red because that project was supposed to ship 2 years back and bring a lot of liquidity into Polkadot ecosystem, show the true potential of what we could do. It still hit a bug like last week or something, and then it's going live next week. So stay tuned to that update. Let's hope it bootstraps the ecosystem a little bit. But that's the idea. Bridge Hub is going to host all these trustless bridges. If you want, I have like a pet project of building a bridge to Dogecoin, because Interlay is already a trustless bridge to Bitcoin. It's the same protocol. If you want to generate some fun and interest in the ecosystem, once the Agile core time goes live, just tweak that code and then launch a Dogecoin bridge. Okay, so that's all possible through this Bridge Hub. Anything trustless, you should be able to convince the ecosystem to deploy it on the Bridge Hub. And the UX, somebody mentioned Polkadot.js before. Never mention about existence of Polkadot.js to any of your friends. You have all of these beautiful options to present to them. Just do that. Okay. So one of the biggest negative things that people hear about Polkadot is that the UX is terrible, and that's driving away a lot of people away. And Polkadot.js single-handedly did that for a few years now. So we want to turn it around. Yeah. So anybody who complains, they should take a look at like Nova Wallet. They have like a Telegram integration too. I've checked it yesterday. A lot of good stuff, multi-sigs and more. And then we have OpenGov. So that is the reason why we are here today. This event is funded by the Treasury. That video there, which is playing there, that's funded by the Treasury. And yeah, so this DAO sort of works, right? Like Polkadot is this big DAO that is sort of making stuff sort of happen. I think this slide was like a couple of weeks ago. The treasury is depleted now. Like I think we are 23 or 24 now. So we're burning DOT at a huge rate. We're spending it on activities like this, which is good. But again, there needs to be a lot more thought process before we spend more and more, right? Like we need more efficient dispensing of capital to sort of maybe encourage projects in this room, right? Like hackathon projects, they should get more spotlight than other stuff the Treasury is focusing on right now. So what Web3 Foundation is doing is, okay, I'm almost done. I hope I don't want to put people to sleep through my story, but I think the final part of this is what we are doing to Polkadot in general, right? So foundation, yeah, we have some money, and then being a foundation, we have to use it for Polkadot. So we're basically a Polkadot foundation. So this year we came up with this program called Decentralized Futures. We would like to give 20, and then this is also around 20, like $40 million to the ecosystem actors and sort of bootstrap their business model so that they can sustain everything later on. It's almost done. Like I think applications close end of June. So if one of you is interested in the program and hasn't applied, you have like 20 more days to apply. But yeah, so this program already has announced partnerships with like 20 people, I guess, and then we have more coming. Like I think we signed agreements with like 40 people or so, 40 entities. And we are really hoping that this decentralized experiment succeeds, and then we have so many independent players in the ecosystem working for bringing the Polkadot technology for wide adoption. And yeah, the ultimate goal of Polkadot is to make every single bit that you store on the blockchain sort of count, make it like very efficient, make sure there's no redundancy, there's no waste of like resources. We are also one of the greenest like blockchains out there. So this is where the technology is going. And then this is the coolest feature that Mythical Games is looking for. So they want elastic scaling like cloud. Like if there's a lot of demand from users, they want to schedule multiple validators and cores to validate their transactions. This is almost done. We're hoping this will go live by the end of the year. And then comes, so I'm happy with this. Like, I could retire after this feature is sort of deployed. But the founder of Polkadot doesn't want to stop. Like, he wants to do much more. And that is to scale Web3 to billions with this giant supercomputer in his basement or whatever. So this is Gavin Wood's like vision, or what he tries to. He envisioned this like back in 2021 when I joined like Web3 Foundation. He mentioned an ideal Web3 app should be unstoppable, meaning nobody should be able to stop that app from functioning. Upgradable, you should be able to deploy updates like a phone. Unlimited, meaning like boundless. Like if there is need, it should be able to meet it. And feeless. This never made sense to me, but yeah, but feeless in the sense, all these tokens and this terrible UX that comes with it. You should be able to interact with the chain without having to pay the fee, or pay fee once and then have like a regular interaction with it or whatever. So for that, like he came up with this Jam gray paper, which builds on what is already built on Polkadot. So it's not something brand new, and it won't replace Polkadot. It's basically going to make Polkadot even more like efficient. A lot of this is already like implemented. Jam will put all of this together. And yeah, I'm happy to answer more questions over the drinks or email, LinkedIn, anywhere. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Radha. So we reach the next item in the agenda for today. I guess the most exciting one for the participants, because what we're about to do now is we're going to announce the winners from the hackathon, starting with the prizes. So we have for the first prize 6,600 USD. For second prize you have 3,000 USDs, and for the third prize we have 2,000 USD. We're going to announce the winners for each category one by one. So for Web3 tooling, first place we have Create Polka the app. On the second place we have Cyborg Network, and third place we have True Network. Applauses for the winners. For DeFi, first place we have Dashboard, second place Nerofia AMM Network, Wallet plus Taker, and third place we have DAO Nation. Applause again. For Inc. Smart Contracts, for this category, for first place we have Archisino. For second place we have crowdfunding platform, and third place we have Prince. Let me hear a shout out. In the category AI and Web3 synergy, first place we have DOTSAMA, second place we have Transparent AI DeFi Lending Protocol Let's Forecaster with ZKML, and on the third place we have the Polkadot AI. And in the category of NFT gaming, on the first place we have Poker Fair, second place Loyalty, and third place StarkX. What's left here, we have the ecosystem challenge, or the prize pool is a bit different. For first place we have 5,000 USD, for second place we have 3,000 USD, and for third place we have 1,000 USD. I think there is only, yeah. So for the Vara challenge, the first place goes to Vara Covers, second place goes to Create Polkadot Vara template, and third place goes to Open Source Marketplace Boilerplate. Applause. And I think this was the last category. So for all the winners, we are going to contact you in the next month or two to align on how you're going to receive your rewards. For everybody here on site and for everybody online, this was the last item in the agenda. For everybody online, wish you a nice evening. And for the on-site event, as I mentioned, we have reserved the place for a couple of more hours. So use the opportunity to network. You never know where you're going to find a new friend, a new colleague, a new partner, a new vendor, a new client, and etc., etc. So use it wisely. And thank you so much, and have a nice evening.